tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
So lovely. Go, Ruby. Welcome, AfterBuzzers, to the finale edition of the Stewarts and Hamilton's After Show here at AfterBuzz TV.
Can we believe it?
No.
So fast this season.
Yes, I'm so with
all
you.
All the talk, all the anticipation,
it's all
everything
over.
you took to get me involved in the show, the motivation speeches, everything, it's all come to an end.
We're going to have to find, we're going to have to petition for season 2. Anyhow, if you're not already subscribing, please hit the subscribe button right below me. And if you're listening to us on iTunes or SoundCloud, thank you. And please give us the 5-star ratings. And always feel free to comment and interact with us because we all love that.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to sing that like Ruby style, and I would have failed. Anyhow,
I love that song.
I know it's
wonderful.
I always replay the beginning, rewind it just so I can hear the little bit of that song again.
Yes, Blake, tell the good people where they can find that song.
Yeah, so I'm sure that it's probably up on iTunes and stuff like that, but if you YouTube it, certainly you can find it. The band is the Sisterhood, and it is comprised of Ruby Stewart and a counterpart, and that particular song is called Tenderize My Heart.
Tenderize my heart, all of you.
That's right.
So it's the finale. It was a 2-part finale. They kind of combined episode 7, Don't Mess with Texas, and episode 8, It's a Family Thing. So we're going to talk both those episodes. I'm your host, Allison Dean. You can find me everywhere at the Allison Dean with 1 L, and I am joined by these two fabulous people. Guy, where can
fabulous
I find
indeed.
You are so fabulous.
Yes.
You go first. Ladies first.
All right.
Blake.
Well, thank you.
I meant Blake. I meant Blake.
I am Blake V, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blake V Media.
And I am Guy David. You can find me on Twitter at Guy and a Girl Show, on Instagram, GuyDavid86.
And what's up to producer Marissa in the booth with us?
What's up, guys?
Hello, Marissa.
So happy to have you with us, Marissa.
For the finale!
I know.
I'm so happy. And there's also wine here, so...
Isn't it? It just makes it even better.
She's happy.
We're all happy.
We need to make that happen.
We're all very happy.
Whose idea was the wine? Great idea. Someone.
Whose idea was that?
Was it yours?
Might have been. Whose idea is the wine always?
Who bought the wine, bought the bottle opener, opened it, poured it for all you guys, did everything?
Who has a bar called
Bar David?
Who never attends that bar with all the invites I give you guys?
Really?
You guys. I'm insulted. Anyway, that's for another time.
We have geographic issues.
He was at the
It will
Chateau
happen.
Marmont the other day. Oh, yeah.
Truly.
He was at the Chateau Marmont. We didn't get an invite there. We're allowed to be inside with him where no one can see us, but he doesn't want to see it. He doesn't want us out in public with him, is what he's saying.
Good point, Allison. Good point.
Never heard such rubbish in my life. Absolute ridiculous.
Things are getting real serious here at the Stu Ham After Show.
All right, we're going to kick it off, and we're going to talk about Sean and his love life. We're a big portion of episode 7 / part 1 of the finale. I had particular enjoyment meeting Sean's boxing instructor. Who else did? Did any? No, you didn't? No?
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah.
I thought he was a character.
I can't even remember him.
What?
I remember he goes to boxing instructor, but I don't think I saw. Why should I? Was he
It was that
appealing?
memorable?
What was he memorable about him?
He was like I don't even know how to describe the guy, but he was such a this guy was a character. I loved him. He needs his own show.
Oh, why were we not struck this way?
Trinity
So
Boxing.
you're with me here? You don't really?
Yeah. I mean, I remember him, but I don't remember being struck that way.
You need to rewatch those.
Clearly we do.
minutes.
Clearly.
This is strange behavior by you.
And he had such poignant things to say to Sean about how Sean talks to himself, and even BC, his friend, chimed in and was like, "Yeah, you talk to yourself, man." And then the boxing instructor was like, "You're not going to get any girls doing that." Kind of a thing. No, this is all.
This was at the gym?
What episode were you watching?
I'm actually starting to think that I watched the wrong episode because I had problems downloading it. I have no recollection of a boxing instructor.
We're not starting off strong.
And all right, they also it kind of brought up the notions of the ex-girlfriend and how the ex-girlfriend was the love of his life and how no one really has been able to reach the status that she had. Does this... Am I speaking?
Oh, no, I remember
No?
that. I do remember that.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Which is a really terrible thing to be dealing with when you're the person dealing with the unreachable status of an ex.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
How is
Disaster.
that ever going to bode well for his future relationships?
And just the
Yeah.
girls that date him are now going to have to be comparing themselves to the ex, knowing she's the
Yeah.
pedestal in some way. But I found it interesting that he said that in front of the cameras, because if that ex-girlfriend's now watching, I mean, her head is as big as Venus. Let's be honest.
I wanted to know if they were talking about the girlfriend that I thought that they were talking about, which I was thinking they were referencing Adrienne Maloof from Real Housewives, because that was the last public girlfriend that he had, wasn't it?
Really?
I do agree that was the last public girlfriend he had. Yes.
So I don't know. I thought that was...
very interesting if that was in fact the one.
No, you're probably right. That sounds right.
Okay, so I don't know. I mean, maybe someone else can comment and tell us if confirmed.
please
'cause I
do.
don't know. Or Sean, please tweet us. Let me know.
And he's got to get over his ex, though. That was a little concerning how still hung up on her he sounds. And you don't speak to your ex like that. She's the love of my life. How she's the greatest person ever. No one's ever going to compare to her again.
Right.
It's weird talk.
It is.
I don't like it. You got to move on.
Yeah.
Suck it up. Be a man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is the impression I get, though. I feel as though he's the kind of guy where the minute he really is smitten with the next girl, I think the ex is like out of the mind. I really do. So I think until he finds that next person that just really mesmerizes him, which maybe we saw in this episode, I think done with the ex. I really do. I believe that it could be that fast for him. Like, oh, I see you in this bathing suit. Who's the ex? I don't know. Honestly.
Who was I speaking about?
Right.
Maybe.
Who was I speaking?
Yeah, hopefully, because that's the healthy way to go about it. That as soon as you have a new person kind of taking up your thoughts and thinking things might go farther, you need to kick that ex talk out the window.
And he's a little simple-minded in some ways, in a great good way. Like, I can see him just flipping one switch and turning to the other, just like that.
He
with
just
his
seems like a
personality.
kid to me.
Yeah, me too.
He seems like a 10-year-old.
Little bit.
And I mean that in like a fun
positive way,
Yeah,
yeah.
like a positive way.
No, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, he just seems very like innocent and like big-eyed and just like like
Peter Pan.
excited. Yeah,
He's the most
truly.
interesting person on the show to me.
He is.
I never know when he's trying to be serious or not. I'm thinking, was he trying to be serious then, or is he still trying to joke?
Yeah.
But it's not funny, but it's actually being serious, but it's funny, but it's not funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
It's like
judge
a
him or read
conundrum.
him.
The boxing instructor also blatantly said, like, while Sean was in the corner talking to himself, he was like, everyone thinks you're effing nuts, but he didn't say effing, he said the word, you know? And I was like, this guy is like a guru. Like,
This guy's on point.
He's so on point. So he brought his friend BC to the boxing place, Trinity Boxing, and then BC brought along this surfer model, Anastasia Ashley, which
Yes,
is like
fabulous
the fanciest
name.
name. I know.
Love it.
Love that name. And basically it was her with a bunch of guys at lunch. It looked like they were
Friends.
friends. Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
It did.
all friends.
But it looked like it was definitely a deliberate
matchmaking?
setup. It did, didn't it to you?
Well, they both knew it was.
Yeah.
The way he spoke to her, they
Well,
were
that's
like...
true. Are you ready to have kids?
That
Yeah.
was the weirdest conversation ever. So do you want to give this a try?
He's very direct,
It was
Sean.
it was almost like auditioning in some way, and then the others were standing there. It was like a deliberate setup, and then the way he spoke to her was like, "Okay, let's do this. You haven't done this for a while. I haven't done this for a while. Let's give it a go. See if we like it."
Makes sense. We both haven't done it in a while. Let's not.
Let's jump on board.
Yes.
Everything he says, I find funny for some reason now. It just
I do too. I truly do.
awkwardly funny, awkwardly amusing.
Yeah.
But she held her own too with the banter,
completely.
which I had a lot of respect for because it's like she had her own zingers, right?
Right. Okay. I thought that was a really interesting dynamic because,
Yes.
quite honestly, I'm being 100% honest here.
Yes.
If I were having a repartee with Sean,
Uh-huh.
half the time I would be like, okay, okay. But she did not. She just went with it. Every single thing that he threw at her, she just like tossed it right back and
know.
played it like it was fine. It was all fine. And she was just like, yep, and here's mine.
I know.
And here's my response. I loved it.
There's
Much
good
respect.
banter.
Yeah.
And a lot of girls in LA don't behave like that. So he got lucky with that one.
Yeah, she was
No,
a good one.
why are you looking at me like that?
No,
Wrong?
yeah.
You agree?
Hey, well, I don't know it from your perspective. So when you say that, I'm like, oh, interesting. Okay.
He's like, LA girls are horrible. We're like, oh, okay.
No, but they're beautiful. But some of them are very serious, very about themselves. Like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and just no time for stupid talk. A bit of banter,
Oh, got it. Okay.
which wouldn't
Right, like
go
to
well
the
with Sean.
business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you think it was funny when Sean says, "I have rock star blood. I could get you pregnant from here."
Yes. I thought many things he said during that date were hilarious. I could name some right now. That was one of them.
Okay. Yeah. That one in particular
yeah.
stood out for me, and I was like, okay, Sean, not something that you say out loud, because if you are the son of a rock star, I don't know, you don't...
Yeah, but it's something that Sean says out loud.
Yes.
So
Sean.
it's fine for him.
And he can get away with it because he sounds like a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
It doesn't
It
come
works.
across as
No.
arrogant or,
Somehow it works for him. It's true.
So he ends up going on a surf date with...
Anastasia. I thought it was wonderful.
It seemed like a wonderful
Yeah.
date. And here's my question. So prior to their date, he and Allie actually went out for lunch, and kind of she was giving him some advice. Do you think any of the advice that she gave, just kind of like, you've been dating the wrong girls, do you think in his mind he was saying to himself, I think she would like Anastasia? Do you think like any part of Allie was in his brain at all, or do you think he was like purely focused on bikini?
Truly, that is a hard question for me to answer.
I'm like, Allie, let's call her. Let's call Allie.
Yeah, let's know. I want to say yes. I want to say that the information that Allie gave to him sunk in, and that while he was on the date with Anastasia, he was really like determining like really some long range plans, and would everybody agree and accept of this situation. But he made a lot of comments that were really bikini focused.
Yes, you answered.
And I feel like, it might take another date or two from Anastasia or anybody else to really like break the Sean cycle, if you will.
Yeah, no matter how smart the guy is,
Yes.
if your first date is in a bikini and she's got a body like that, your mind's not functioning properly. No matter how smart or how switched on you are, you're
Fair
looking
enough.
at you're thinking about other things.
Yeah.
So
I think that's fair.
Good move by her.
Guy, did you think it was a good first date?
Yeah, it went well. Surprisingly.
Shockingly.
Some of the stuff he
Shockingly.
said was just,
Oh my God.
I wouldn't say on a first date.
He
but
was killing me when they got to the beach and they were like, we're gonna surf. He literally, I was dying when I heard him say these things. They went out and she was like, what does the surf look like to you? And he's like, I could make better waves farting in my bathtub.
I wrote that down.
I was dying. And then later they're sitting on the towel and she's like, what is this stain on the side of your board shorts? She's like, is this lipstick? And he's like, no, it's not lipstick. What are you talking about? He's like, I think it's Doritos. I think I like wiped them on the side. I'm like, oh my God. Between farting in the tub and wiping the Doritos on the side of your pants, like, we're totally 10 years old.
Did he catch a wave? Because she was just ripping through.
She was so good,
And
showing
it
it up.
It was funny because he was making comments about how bad the waves were, and she's getting up with no issue, and
Not a problem.
he's just falling forward.
how would you guys have
Sean.
reacted to a date with Sean like that?
Well, I would not have gone surfing as step one.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that sort of humor, that sort of banter.
no, completely. I feel like I would not have received it well. I truly feel like
dear.
many of the things he said, I would be like, okay, yeah, moving on.
Como?
So most of the stuff he said is not way further down the relationship. The things he said, the inappropriate in a way.
Inappropriate,
No,
and then also like serious. Like, so when are you having kids? And so, like those were very serious questions. I mean, I do feel like when you're dating someone, you want to get to know the full story, but I do feel like there's a certain like first date etiquette,
Yes.
or like sort of format,
Yes.
where you don't really get to the hard-hitting questions just yet. Like, you're really kind of focusing on like small talk and like, do we even like hanging out with each other? Like, we're not trying to talk about kids or marriage yet because it's not there.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
Wouldn't that freak you out?
Well, here's the thing. I think, me,
I would
probably.
be
you.
horrified.
But the thing about it is, perhaps Sean is just in a position where the right girl is going to respond the right way or whatever, you know? So in this case, I thought she was responding pretty naturally, and It was working.
She was actually really good.
They were flowing.
She was a quality girl.
Yeah.
Every time he said something, I like cringed. I'm like, no, Sean, no. It was like a pause there.
Yeah.
But then she always responded well.
Perfectly.
And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
this is a good girl.
Like, it didn't even faze her.
Totally.
Every time she reacted great, I was like, yes! I was, like, proud.
I was with you on that.
Yeah, yeah.
So curious to see
Where this goes.
Do you have any info? You're good with that. News and notes? Nothing?
Not as of yet. No, they haven't really posted anything that I saw.
It might have been a one and done. Might have been it.
No, maybe it just is something where they're keeping it,
On the DL.
yeah, on the DL.
I think he's overachieved.
Oh.
I do.
All
Well,
right.
Sean, if you're watching, when you've overachieved, you settle down. That's when
That's when you know it's time
That's when
to
you
settle.
know.
For whatever reason, you said that, and all I was thinking about was Bachelor in Paradise as you were saying that. Sorry. If you saw this season, you would understand what I'm talking about. Okay.
Okay.
Moving on.
I didn't.
Clearly we both didn't.
Nothing. It was gripping television. Okay, Alana and Kim. Ooh, they kind of got into a tad bit, and we saw some dynamics. I mean, really, Kim was getting on Alana about not watching Delilah, and it seemed like this was an issue. The way that Kim was speaking to Alana was as though she is asked 1,000 times, and every time Alana says, "No, I'm working." I kind of felt for Alana on this one, just because I was like, she still works. Obviously, you might have married a rock star and a movie star, but you may not have gotten the piggy bank.
Is there anyone yet that Kim hasn't had an issue with? Every episode there's a new person she takes an issue with.
You are correct about that.
Like,
I think.
literally.
Yeah.
And I think she's nearly wrong every time. I've disagreed with her every time.
So in this case, you also did?
Yeah, and I don't like her face when she gets mad. She gets like really like
The eyes.
It's an obnoxious face. I don't like it as much. I felt for Alana.
I did. I really did. And the fact that, she's working for the Farrah Fawcett Foundation, which basically they do a lot of cancer research and funding and various things. It's like she's working. She's doing important stuff. I don't know. It just seemed a little out of place. And I did think it was poignant when Sean was like, it seems like you two need to go to therapy. And I think he said
Coming
it joking.
from Sean,
I know.
they must.
I was like, poignant.
Yeah.
And
Poignant,
Alana's
Sean.
had a lot going on in her life. She's had a lot to deal with.
She has, and it almost took George like talking to Kim a little bit and saying, "Hey, look," which this surprised me on some level, that at this point, at the age that Kim is, at the age Alana and George are at, like, how come it's taken this long to have this conversation about where Alana has come from and sort of the hurdles that she faced when she was a child and just growing up? It surprised me that it took George telling Kim all this. So could that have been something where, was this for the show or?
Yes. Because I was thinking exactly the same thing you said. I'm like, she's 30s now. You don't have this conversation now. I mean, Lalana was saying stuff like, this was my house. This is what I did. This is like, this stuff. You should. That's your mother, unless you've taken absolutely no interest in your family background.
Right.
Which she has to have.
Yeah. I don't know.
What did you think?
I didn't think it was entirely fake. I think
No,
that...
not yeah,
Okay.
right.
Fabricated.
Some.
Maybe exaggerated.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe exaggerated, but I mean, I think that it's possible that there were core things that Kimberly didn't know.
That they just sort of move past in their life, like,
Yeah.
we don't need to talk about that.
I do.
I mean,
I do.
It's possible.
I think that it's possible sometimes that parents don't always share 100%
Sure.
of their lives with their kids.
Yeah.
I think that it's possible that sometimes parents shield many things from their children for whatever reasons they may have.
Yeah.
And I also think it's very likely that later in life, once you are an adult or reach some certain stage that parents then deem worthy or capable or whatever, you suddenly do learn things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's entirely possible that maybe for whatever reason, Kimberly was like shielded from this stuff, and maybe it was news to her.
Maybe.
I was happy to see, so after the conversation that George had with Kim, it's almost like a light bulb turned on for her, and she felt
Which isn't that the way? George always comes in and just kind of
knowledge.
sprinkles bits of wisdom on everyone that he speaks to.
He's the
wonderful.
go-to man.
He
really is.
You guys might hate me for saying this, but I found the whole Texas thing boring. A little bit.
Speaking of Texas, so they go to
Nacogdoches.
Yep.
Well said.
Well said. Like an Orange County gal should say it. It's like you've got Texas in you, like,
because I do.
Really? Is that really?
I do.
Oh,
I've always said you're a Southern girl.
I know. I mean, not truly. Like, I wasn't born there or anything. Born and raised in the OC. But yes, my dad's whole side of the family is from Texas. I have family that lives in Texas currently.
Good thing I let the gal with the Texas blood say the fancy city name.
Absolutely.
You got the Southern twinge too in the accent.
Very interesting, because I've never been.
No, I don't know how.
I don't think I know that.
I lived 5 years in the South. I know it.
Oh.
That
And she does.
If Guy says it is.
No, game.
It must be.
Full stop. Period.
Oh, okay.
Done. You do.
Trust that
Southern
Aussie
girl.
over here.
All right.
They go to Texas because Kim wants to kind of get a feel for where her mom came from and just the upbringing, and so you thought it was boring.
I think I found it boring because, I'm not part of the family, so I didn't really care that much.
Okay.
Even though it was a lovely story where she's come. And I missed, George. I didn't see him much in the episode at all. I missed the things I loved the show, the quirkiness, the personalities, the weirdos, the everything, which I've learned to love. It got all too a bit serious. I was sitting in the car the whole time. Kim had a bad look on her face. The mum's trying to, telling these heartwarming stories. She's not responding that well. I'm like, cut it down a bit. Let's get back to George. Where is he?
What's George doing?
Exactly. That's what I wanted.
I mean, that's really the question always. What's George doing? I had a different take on it, actually. It was very serious. It was, very sad in many moments. But I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting to learn Alana's upbringing. I also might have found it a little personal because I do have those Southern roots. So... I have family from Texas and from Tennessee, and actually Alana's upbringing reminded me a lot of parts of my own family.
That's interesting.
So I sort of related on that level. And I thought it was interesting because we would never, we think that this whole family is just like rich and fabulous and entitled and,
which is not the case.
Rock and movie star royalty. And we learned it's not the case.
Right.
We learned that Alana really came from humble beginnings. And I thought that was very interesting.
So what happened with... Alana's had 2 divorces, George Hamilton and Rod Stewart. Why does she still have to work?
That is a question for Alana Stewart.
Yeah, truly. Don't know.
I was impressed she does, but I just thought that was strange.
It depends, if she signed prenup agreements, and depending on what what was in those agreements in terms of what the shakedown was going to be, if anything happened, or time of marriage. No idea.
Yeah, who knows?
But she's still working. It doesn't look like she's,
And it may not be, I don't think she's overtly said that the reason she's still working is for financial reasons, right? So it may not be...
She said she still needs to work.
Yeah, that I came across that as financial.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I feel like it may be less financial and more like the work ethic
Self-worth.
and the will to work.
Yeah.
Because there are many people that are like that who truly will only work till they die.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to not work.
Yep.
So it's possible that could be.
I did like her story, though.
Yeah.
I found that very... As you put it well.
How sad was it that she ate her best friends, the chickens?
Oh, God, I died.
Oh,
I was like, that was a pretty sad moment.
Yeah, no, and I think, especially for animal lovers, that's especially painful to hear of a story like that. And then I thought Kim's reaction was very interesting because she was like, oh, no, I'd feel terrible if I ate Dean. And I was like, no, Kim, we're not talking about Dean. We're talking about your animal friends, which is a completely different bond.
Her best friends. That was heartwarming.
Heartbreaking.
Her only friends, the chickens.
I know, the chickens. Oh.
And the chickens got ate by her.
Man, that is just that would affect a child.
That's tormenting.
I ate my best friends.
I would never be the same again.
No.
Ever.
There was some good stuff in there. Maybe I wasn't that bored.
Yeah,
I think I was just a little hungover. And I was just...
That must have been it.
It was
because it was great.
It was kind of interesting too, in the sense of when she revealed that her mother was a drug addict. Kind of the connect that Kim might have had with just knowing that, or if she didn't know that before, based on her history with Ashley, and just the levels of the fact that Alana really wasn't as present for Kim because of the stuff going on with Ashley.
I think that that's actually very important that you're bringing that up, Allison, because addiction is hereditary. It truly is. you know, especially like alcoholism and really any sort of drug addiction, it is hereditary. It runs through family lines. It's true. So the fact that maybe Alana might have hidden her mother's addiction and stuff, because, you know, I'm sure there have been many times where she was ashamed or embarrassed or upset at this past, and she maybe didn't want anybody to know. It was something that kind of, you know, she kept hidden and didn't even want to tell her children. But the fact that Ashley had such an issue with it, it sort of was something that forced itself to the forefront and maybe would have helped Kimberly or anybody else had they known the connection earlier, kind of sorting out Ashley's, you know, issues.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
There we have it.
I mean, it was tough for her. I mean, Ashley was a full-blown drug addict. Like I think it's worse than we even think how bad it got, from what I'm getting.
It seems like it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
very severe.
She'd be terrified every day this was his last day on the planet.
Yeah.
So you lose focus on other things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think the trip ended well, though, because they get back home and they visit Mark Mahoney, who is a legendary, I mean, like, you can't get an appointment with him. And they each get blue bonnets,
Which was adorable.
That's adorable. You need to get one now, too, because you're a Texan.
I know.
Do you have tattoos?
I don't. I don't have any to-dos.
Tattoos. I always get
What are your to-dos
tattoos.
today? What are your to-dos today?
Do you have any?
I might.
Do they hurt?
It depends on where. Placement is key.
Where you have them?
Yeah.
She has a few.
We'll discuss this.
Okay.
We'll discuss this since this is not a tattoo show, and we're not recapping LA Ink right now. I will chat with you later.
All right.
But yeah, like
They don't tickle. I mean, they
sting.
You feel them, like she said, like
They
little bee
sting.
stings. Yeah, that's pretty spot on. So we only get a little bit from Ashley's storyline in the episode. He's in the studio, and this one did seem a little curated to me in the sense of I feel as though Jason Flom was already involved in some level.
100%.
Okay, because I was like, the way that he walked in and was like, this is just
for
a
every
thing.
true struggling musician, just the ease of that whole scenario was like, ugh. That's the sound I made when I watched it.
So anyway, he got a record deal with Jason Flom, which good for him. And I liked Jason. I just thought the whole thing was like, I feel like you probably already knew this was about to go down, or
truly.
you were already signed.
But but even better than that was George coming in for his little
That was amazing.
like
That was
record
awesome.
cameo.
So good.
Oh my god, I loved it. Okay, like what was he even doing? It was like
He was being a sheriff.
Oh.
He was. I think he was being a sheriff.
I mean, because it was like spoken word
Yeah.
or like a G-Ham rap. That's my new name for George, by the way, G-Ham.
G-Ham.
GM. I loved it though. How he did
It
it.
was so good. He's so
Bam.
good. Does he do anything bad? I don't think so.
Oh God, we're
No.
all in love with George.
We are
it's a
all.
disaster.
It's unanimous.
He even had microdermabrasion being done very well to him. Like he just can't. It's all good.
It just wins all day long.
Was there anything else in part 1 of the finale that we have missed before we move on to the wrap up?
I think that summed it up.
All right, so then let's talk about part 2. It's a family thing, and we shall start with we learned. So now Kim has moved on with her issues with mom, and she has moved onward to brother Ashley and the fact that she once idolized him and they had such a good thing, but we see that he apparently skipped her daughter Delilah's birthday, and she was very upset about that because everyone else was there except for him, and she had some words with him and he kind of didn't have anything to add, really.
Yeah.
He kind of played it off like, what?
Right. Well, I sort of felt like, okay, I feel like this entire season,
Yes.
we've seen Ashley be kind of quiet, kind of sensitive,
Yeah,
kind of
he is.
sweet, kind of in the background. Like
He's been kinda.
Yeah, kind of. Because like every single episode's about him and Allie and whatever else, his issues and all kinds of things. But really, he's got kind of a reserved presence thus far. This episode, the finale, I thought that he was really kind of like snarky and like attitudey.
Ooh.
And like negative in a way that I have not seen him this entire series.
Give me an example.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a few.
Okay.
I have a few for you. So the first was when Kimberly went to go drop off the credit card when they were at the
Yes.
boxing...
Trinity Boxing.
Yes. He was like, do I need to do this now? Do you need to do it now, Kimberly? What? And then she was like, yes, I need to give you this to give to Sean, yada, yada, whatever. So he had like attitude. He showed up at Kimberly's motorcycle riding lesson.
Yep.
And she couldn't figure out what exactly the reason was. He hadn't been invited, but he got there and she's like, you need a helmet. And he's like, no, I don't need a helmet. Like just taking off.
Bad example, actually.
Yeah. And then like he shows up to the Dirty Weekend photo shoot and like totally, I felt like had a bit of attitude when they were discussing their relationship, which we might touch on later. But I feel like his reception of their conversation was also like a little, I don't know, like a little snarky. I can't even really find...
He was not on her page about things, basically.
No.
She was
and he sort of had a little tood.
Okay.
Little tood.
I can feel you. I mean,
bit.
that could have been things that we may not have seen in the sense of...
Completely.
Perhaps there was things at the motorcycle class that we did not see that actually happened. I mean, you know, fancy editing. But overall, I do understand what you're saying because they're just... In the moments that we saw them together, it did seem a bit like he was...
combative.
Yeah, right.
Like it wasn't very kind.
Right. It was in disagreement. What did you think about their interactions together?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. But I'm an Ashley apologist and a Kim critic.
Okay.
So I have been the whole show.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I just think... I know I'm saying this too often, but I'm going to sound like a broken record, but he's going through a lot. And I just think he doesn't need that stuff right now. He just Kim gets on everyone.
Yeah.
Like she finds a way to get on everyone. And I can understand he was snarky, but he's probably snarky because she pissed him off. As simple as that. He doesn't want to deal with all that now. He wants to focus on his record. He just got signed. He's just broken up with Ali. She's come and she's got in his face and pissed him off. He's got a bit snarky on camera. That happens to all guys. I mean, who cares if he got a little attitude and then she flipped out and made a big scene of it and Delia and everything.
I care, Guy.
I know you do. We just heard it.
I care.
I do think it's interesting though, in the sense of when she basically said or exclaimed on some level that she used to, you know, idolize him on some level and they were so close, but then he responded and he was like, I always felt like an outsider. I thought that was really interesting, and I could understand where he was coming from in that capacity because it's true. She, from the Stewart side, has many siblings on her side that are, well, I mean, really only Sean is the full like blood sibling, I guess.
How many more are there?
There's like
I think there's like eight total, yeah.
Something. I mean, there's a lot.
God.
I mean, they're all half
but
brothers
still,
and sisters.
It's like a Stewart clan.
But it is a Stewart clan, right?
But Ashley was the only Hamilton.
Right.
For many, many, many years. And that's the thing, too, is that now we see Alana and George have a very close relationship. But I feel like probably while she was married to Rod, primarily, George probably wasn't as close and in their lives as they are now.
I agree.
So Ashley probably felt like his dad was somewhere else and he was kind of in this new blended family all alone on his own. And that totally, I agreed. Kind of him saying that he felt like an outsider. I could see where that stemmed from.
I wish they would have spent a little bit more time, like even how they filmed that scene. It was like his back was to us and I felt like they could have.
You know what it was like? It was like a dance.
It was kind of.
It was. And do you remember?
Tell us, boy.
Do you remember this dance battle casting that we were all talking about a few months ago?
I certainly do.
Yes. Well, it all started with Maria Menounos and Derek and Julianne Huff's family dance battles 2 years ago on Instagram. And now America has the chance to dance.
This is a great transition.
That's good, right?
Very
totally good.
I didn't know where you were going with it, but then
and here we are, and we've arrived. So now 8 families have been chosen to come to LA and battle, and it is going to be huge. So you are not going to want to miss it. Set your DVRs now. It is very serious. Don't miss out on this. The show is called Dance Battle America, and it airs on ABC Monday, September 14th, right after Dancing with the Stars at 10 p.m. Dance Battle America, check it out.
DVR it.
DVR it.
Yes.
DVR it. So yeah, basically I was just sad that they were doing the video dancing that they were doing, and I wasn't getting, almost like when we were disappointed when they were trying to pretend that Ashley was gay and that was being filmed really poorly.
You know what else is a really interesting film critique?
Okay.
I'm going to toss it on you right here.
Yeah.
Is that Ashley's back was to the camera, and we saw Kim's like full reactions to everything. So it almost like subconsciously made you react to Kimberly's reactions because you were not seeing much of Ashley. And it also lended kind of, you know, your mind to the idea that Ashley was like unresponsive because you couldn't see really his responses.
Good point. Huh? You're on the ball today. You're switched on.
Yeah, I was
switched on.
I thought that was a very, I don't know, I thought that was an important component. I was kind of bummed that they didn't.
How much older is Ashley than Kim?
He's 40. She's 30.
Well, she's older than Sean.
He's 30.
So maybe 3 years?
I think she's like 35 or something. Yeah.
And how bad was Ashley's motorcycle accident?
Marissa's going to look it up for us.
It was pretty bad. It resulted in brain surgery, he said.
I couldn't believe that.
I mean, that's huge.
And then he was riding around again with no helmet.
Right, which I thought was...
part of Kimberly's concern that I understood. Like, she's saying, hey, you need a helmet. And he's like, no, I don't. Okay, well, you had brain surgery from an accident. You might consider it. That's all.
Well, maybe he's missing those cells in there. And
to remind him about the helmet.
That's where I was thinking.
I don't know.
Maybe.
But he patches things up on some level.
You're looking for Ashley Hamilton?
He's 40, but how old is
Kimberly Stewart?
Oh, Kimberly Stewart.
Yeah, I'm curious. We're curious.
Yeah.
So they kind of patch things up-ish. They can go motorcycle riding together now. He brings Delilah a gift.
Yes, I liked their little outing to the DMV.
Very adorable.
To get their motorcycle.
36.
Licenses. It was very cute.
Kimberly Stewart is 36.
36. Okay, so 4 years difference.
Yeah.
So it's not that much.
No, it's
they're
not
fairly
that much.
close.
They're close in age. So we get another glimmer of Sean and his dirty weekend business, the apparel line that he has. And initially the family, well, Ashley and Kim kind of scoffed when he mentioned it. So I think it was them indicating that they've heard this kind of stuff.
That was another one of Ashley's negative comments. Sean was like, hey, I've got this new business venture. And like right off the bat, Ashley was like, oh, it's really cute.
I laughed too when he said it though.
Yeah.
Although when I met Ashley and Sean in studio, Ashley was genuinely a big supporter of Sean, I want to say. So either Ashley was in just a sarcastic mood that day or they captured some stuff, but authentically I think Ashley really loves Sean and really wants to see him succeed. At least that's what I was getting from him.
Wonderful.
Because
that all happened after the season, so that's even better to know.
That's true,
yeah.
I'll just say quickly, because Ashley's been so serious the whole show.
Yeah.
He's very, very serious. And I read somewhere that he does comedy. He's a comedian. And you told me he's quite funny in your when you interviewed him. So I watched your show.
Oh,
so
you did?
I just wanted to see some personality from him.
Did you?
And I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, please say you did.
But I'm like, Ashley, why the hell weren't you like that on the show?
Yes.
Well,
and even with
just
this,
a little bit. Just give me something.
that could have been
Completely.
editing. They
And
could
even
have
with-
edited that out.
yeah, and even with this episode, even though it was like negative, like he had like snarky remarks or whatever, it at least was more personality than we've seen the whole entire season.
Maybe they were doing that deliberately to kind of give us a sense that like Sean is the jokester, and they were kind of like creating character types for us. Maybe I don't know.
Ashley was a big successful entertainer for a while.
Yeah,
and he did a lot of that stuff, and he had no personality.
Yeah.
I knew I put it down to the addiction. He's just battling everyday demons in his head, but I don't think it's quite like that, because I saw him interview here. I thought he was quite funny.
He's definitely very focused on the music right now. That's for certain. But he is quite funny. So I think that they probably just didn't include a lot of those moments. At least that's what I'm thinking.
He just did some weird stuff. Even when he was like, when he plays the guitar, he wears a beanie and like a hoodie at like the middle of winter in Montana or something, and you're in LA and you just play I don't know.
Some people are just very cold all the time.
Some people are.
I am not one of those
Allison
people.
and I are the opposite of that.
We are not those people.
Pam, I'm sweating up a storm right now.
Yep.
The three of us.
We are all the opposite of that.
We are not that.
But dirty
weekend.
Dirty weekend.
What were you thinking? Are you going to go online tonight and purchase some apparel?
I did check it out a bit because this interests me, because I'm about to launch my clothing line, and he went to a place, the manufacturer where I did, very similar in the fashion district in LA.
Yes,
Right, down
yes,
LA.
as you do.
I mean,
when you're launching a clothing line.
I thought it was funny that it took me like working at it like 6 months to get samples ready. He had one meeting and then he had samples ready like
We don't know the timeline
there must have been there must have been a huge timeline cut in the episode.
Or it helps if your name were to be Guy Stewart.
True, true. Huh? But still, you got to, true.
Maybe. I don't know. Just thinking.
I'm trying to still work out how it's doing. He's got 163, 64 Instagram followers, which isn't fantastic, obviously.
Yeah, well, okay. So it's interesting because I feel like it's a good idea. It's definitely a marketable idea. He is who he is. The name is what it is. The idea of it is completely marketable. But the items themselves are not, at least what we've seen on the episode tonight. I've not done any further research, but they're not like super unique in such a way that it would be like an immediate must-have.
I think what he needs to do, if I'm going to put on my entrepreneurial
analyst hat,
I think that he should go the surf route, and he should put his stuff in like surfing type stores.
I love that idea.
Good.
Oh my God. Well, maybe that's the tie-in with Anastasia.
It would be smart.
I completely agree with that. Yes.
If they're doing that, I think that would be the way. Just because it's kind of, at least the design is very like throwback to beachy,
retro,
Venice Beach esque stuff.
Boardwalk.
Yeah.
Skateboards.
Colors are.
Yes.
And so it's like you just kind of want to see it on like tank tops and on surfer girls and on board shorts. I don't know.
Completely.
I think that could be the winning.
I thought the models were good. I thought they made the product look good.
They were
Allie
great.
was there.
Yeah.
That's important. Select good models, right?
Yeah.
She was there. I just had a problem with every shirt said Dirty Weekend, just print screened on it.
Yes.
I think you could have mixed that up a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a bit like the designs that we've seen so far are a bit reserved.
Limited.
Yes, a bit limited. I think that definitely he's got room to grow.
Yeah.
But certainly marketable. I like your surf route. I think that's fantastic. Sean? New marketing team over here.
Yeah.
I mean, also just the fact that he could take it into really many sport industries, like even the snowboarding route for the winter, because I feel like the whole concept of Dirty Weekend in the sports world could be kind of funny. Anyway.
Totally.
It's good. Yeah, it's good he's
it's
doing it.
It's something they can identify with.
That's my 2 cents.
We don't know how it's going. It's too early. I think it's probably too early.
Far too early, I think.
They just recently launched. So I think it's too early. All right, so a big portion and sort of the big culminating cap off is all season. All of us have kind of been rooting for George and Alana to reunite. Reunited. And
you can sing.
I was gonna like continue on with you.
That was quite impressive.
Yeah.
Aw, adorbs.
You didn't tell me you could sing.
You've been holding out on us, Allison.
Holding out on me, you guys leave me out of everything. Oh no, go on. I'm just joking. Don't react.
Wow.
Don't react.
Serious accusations.
Save it
there.
after.
So we've really been seeing this all season. We've gotten glimmers of this from other people in the episodes that have kind of insinuated that they should be together. We got a lot of that from Kim this episode, who is pretty much like, you guys are soulmates and what the hell kind of a thing. And even so, Kaylin comes back, the love architect comes back to join the party, and it was as though she was conducting a couples therapy session between the two of them, where Alana kind of knew what was going on, but George had no idea.
He didn't get the memo for that session
at all. What did you guys think of that chat that they were having?
I thought it was very odd, to say the least. I mean, I think that clearly Alana and George were on different pages at this point. I think, if anything, Alana was really trying to enlist the help of the love architect to just improve communication, maybe not necessarily like relationship bonding, although that might have been like the real plan.
Right.
But George didn't know this. And George was completely taken off guard, and he was like, I feel like I'm in a couples session and I'm not a couple.
And that was poignant, because I was watching going, I feel like you're in a couple session and you don't know it.
Yeah.
What did you think, guys?
Yeah, George doesn't want to get back together with her.
No.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
It was interesting, though, they touched on the fact that, or Alana said that they didn't know how to communicate when they were younger, and it looks like they're communicating now on some level, but like so much has not been revealed to each other for too long, I think. George sees her as like a great pal. Alana is, I think, more on the page of, I think you could be my one true love kind of a thing. And the fact that they were not communicating as well as they should in their marriage led to their demise. So it's like she thinks that they could still be together. It was interesting when he brought up, and I don't remember if it was him on camera bringing this up or if it was like a voiceover, but he basically said, had we not separated, she would have not had the other family. Kids. Right. And we wouldn't be the big giant clan that we are now.
Yeah.
You were kind of emotional though, right? For the part of this?
Oh, yeah. I thought the end was totally sad because this whole
I didn't
entire...
think it was sad. I just thought they didn't punctuate anything.
I thought it was sad.
Oh, okay.
I was left feeling like Alana had confessed her love.
Yes.
Her undying love to George. And he just said, yeah, no.
He didn't say... Did he say no?
Well...
He said no
yes.
off camera.
Yeah, off camera, yes. I mean, well, of course, no. He's suave. He's not going to say no to
suave.
Alana's face. I mean, of course, he, was kind and everything in person, but in his little solo interview, he said no.
But he embraced her, and it seemed like they were talking, at least in the moment that we got. I really...
Didn't he say something like in the solo interview, like, he left the door just a tad open?
That's
he said,
what
like,
I thought.
He said, like, well, mate, we'll see, or... He said something like that, his last words, and he was awkward. He, like, put his head down,
right.
He didn't look in the camera. He was caught off guard by the whole thing.
It's
nearly.
as though they're setting us up for season 2 or something.
Yeah, I think so. It was a bit cliffhangery for me.
I mean,
I felt it was one-sided.
They went on wife swap.
They did.
So...
He said... He didn't say no completely. He said, I don't think so. I think he said something like that. And then he said, well, we'll see, maybe. Right?
I mean, I really need to understand this because it just seems like they're so good together.
Ali said 60-40.
I know.
But is Alana just lonely, maybe?
No, well, I don't.
Maybe. Well, she did say. I thought this was funny when.
Oh, the condoms
when
are
George.
out?
Well, that too. That too. But when George and GT took a visit to Alana to discuss the idea of George potentially dating other women, she had a very surprised reaction to the notion that George might date another woman.
She totally did.
She was like very upset over the idea, and I just thought that reaction alone said a lot. The fact that
she's not cool with it.
Yeah, like she may say, "Oh yeah, that's fine," but she really was not cool with it, and she said that if another woman were to occupy 90% of George's time, that would be a large void in her life. And I thought two things were funny with that. One thing, if he got with another woman, it's very likely that time might be monopolized 100% of the time. So I thought her
90%,
her idea of 90% was interesting. Interesting math there. And the second fact is that she's saying it would fill a large void in her life, which made it more... she's bringing it all onto her. George having a dating life outside is affecting her in a very large way. So that's making me feel like she's more invested than he is.
There's some parallels between them and then Dean and Kim, interestingly. If we compare the two vantage points of those relationships, kind of interesting that they're mirroring in some ways.
One of the luxuries of being single is you don't have to answer to anyone. You can do whatever the hell you want.
And he likes that.
But he can't do that right now. He's feeling guilty and stuff.
Yeah.
He said it. So it's
on
like,
his date.
And I felt for him. He shouldn't have to. He can go on a date if he wants. He's single.
It was kind of cute on how he called Alana after the date and said, "Oh, so you called," and wow.
Yeah, exactly. And he even said in his little solo interview that he enjoys dating, and he was describing the types of women he likes and how many of them he likes at one time. And what I thought was hilarious was every single interview that he does like that, he's got the film crew, producer, people that are there with his interview cracking up every single time. Oh, just imagine the hilarity that ensues.
I really cracked up when Sean fell out of his chair in the interview. I actually really did.
That was really funny.
Well, basically, in my summation, I think that George and Alana are still soulmates. I'm going with it.
All right.
I'm hoping for the best.
We're all hoping for the best.
Guy, what are you hoping?
I just don't think it's going to happen.
I think he made
the bubble. I could feel him in a way. He made it clear that he loves his life right now. He loves the kids. He loves hanging out with Alana, but he loves still having the ability to date other women, live in his condo, drink his scotch, be single. I think he's very content where he is right now.
He's a man who wants it all. Really?
The whole 30 years thing gets... They've been divorced for 30... They've been divorced as long as I've been alive.
She has a stronghold. She has a stronghold.
How's she
Very
just...
strong.
This is just happening again now. I don't...
Well, you know, older and wiser, you realize things maybe. I mean, who knows? She obviously has the love architect in her life, so, you know, she's being influenced maybe to...
I think that love architect's overpaid or something.
Overpaid,
overrated,
something like that.
It's possible, Guy.
It's possible.
I don't... Yeah, she's clutching at straws.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Well, but really by way of Alana, because Alana's the one who enlisted her help in the matter, you know? So really, I think Alana has more to do with this situation than you know, maybe George cares
I'm still
to
wondering,
have at
I'm
this
still
point.
wondering if they do get back together, if George will actually be happy.
Yeah.
I hope
That's
because
an
he has the whole
interesting one.
family pushing them into it. Even I think Ali said it last week, but I hope he doesn't just fall for that. Say yes, let's do it, and then he gets old way before he should. You know, because he's got so much swag and charisma right now for his age. Suave.
Suave has not left.
I hope he doesn't lose it getting back in a relationship.
All right. Well, I mean, if there's a season 2,
Alana's going to hate me if she's watching this.
she is.
Sorry.
She is.
I
Well,
love
no matter
Alana,
what
though.
happens, George will never lose the suave, in my opinion.
I agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
Final thoughts on this episode, the finale. Anything?
Yeah.
I thought it was lovely. I thought it wrapped everything up well, except for the George and Alana issue. I was left a little sad, quite honestly.
Yeah.
But a great setup for season 2, so we'll have to
agree.
see.
What about you?
I loved the very, very end. I loved George speaking to the camera and how he just put his head down and didn't know what to do and I thought it was a good moment, even though you guys didn't. And I loved the second part. I didn't love the first hour
part?
as much.
Okay.
And it's a good show. I hope it gets renewed.
I want to know the most memorable thing that happened in the season. Like, what's the first thing that pops in your brain as like the most memorable, something that sticks out for you that was like your favorite thing? Do you have one?
I feel like mine are all George moments.
That's fine. That's allowed. What were they?
I like the part where he threw wine on himself for sake of the comedy.
I don't know. Maybe Vegas bringing the girls home, the hookers.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I do? You put me on the spot. I'm just trying to think of something.
It's all right. I think mine was kind of a tie. At least what popped into my brain was the whole fender bender incident and how George handled it. But also when Allie basically said to Ashley that she wasn't going to miss Chinese class. I still think that was a fantastic moment.
That was a good moment.
I just was like, oh, you're kidding me? I'm not missing Chinese class.
Very good moment.
So props on that. Well, I think that kind of wraps us up. Everyone out there, thank you so much for spending the season with us for Stewarts and Hamilton.
It's been a short one, but a great one.
Short one, but great one.
Too short.
Hopefully there'll be a season 2, so we'll keep you posted on that. I've been your host, Allison Dean. You can find me everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, etc. at the Allison Dean, and you can find these two lovely people where?
You can find me Guy and a Girl Show on Twitter and GuyDavid86 on Instagram. Thanks for joining us, guys.
And I am Blake V. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Blake V Media. Thank you guys so much.
And thanks to Marissa in the booth for sticking with us, burning the midnight oil.
You the
with
best,
us.
Marissa.
You the best.
Thanks, guys, for a good season.
We'll see you all soon out there, AfterBuzzers.
Yeah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.